Really?
There was
That was just a look, and
there
she was
was
like, I
one
know.
night things got a little intimate, and the very next meeting, like I was sitting on his lap.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We're talking to you guys about Nancy and Bartese from Love is Blind After the Altar. I'm going to do a few different videos from each episode. So we're going to take it episode by episode. Tomorrow we'll have some more videos on what we saw in episode 2. But just speaking about episode 1 and Nancy and Bartese, I want to talk about her poor boundaries that she herself mentioned later on on the table dinner with the ladies. And I wanted to just bring this to somebody's attention because there's many people like Nancy who have a high level of independence when it comes to finances, in terms of how they live their life, how they rule it, and how they maneuver, but they don't realize it's a weakness. And the weakness oftentimes is a poor emotional regulation, which then ends up to poor boundaries. Because really and truly, the person doesn't deal with the other part of them, which is when you have a high level of independence, especially from an early age, there's often a place where you have not matured in, which is oftentimes the emotional regulation, or at least your emotional needs have not been taken care of by the caregiver to the standard that you require. Thus, you've had to regulate yourself from a very young age. So you mature faster in the things of the world, but actually maturity in your emotions and maturity in what your standards are come at a different rate. But because you're mature in the world financially, in the job and your career and how you present yourself, it looks like you've fully grown. But the reality is there's a huge weakness that you're hiding behind, that you're shielding behind this strength and independence that you have. So we're going to break it down. I'm going to provide some evidence in terms of what I'm actually talking about here as well. And hopefully you guys learn something today as well. Don't forget to do me a massive favor. You're going to like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. We want to see more of you guys coming back onto this channel as well. We're going to play a little intro and then we're going to get on with the show. Little Black Book. You know what time it is. 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 All right. Let's get into this video. Let's play a little bit more of the clip and talk a little bit more as well.
And then I realized the next day, yeah, Nancy, that is not okay. That's my biggest fault, is that I don't have boundaries because it was someone that I did love.
You said yes at an altar, and if he had said yes,
Now she says something very interesting. She says, "Oh, you know what? I realized I didn't have very good boundaries because I was with somebody that I actually love." No, I think she doesn't have very good boundaries in general, and I think that plays out in the Bartese situation. Look, in this situation, if it wasn't a boundary issue, to say, "Listen, hey, look, you know what? I was kind of messing around. I was moving a bit mad, and we did what we did." But you have to mention your boundaries, not being able to implement them very well with Bartese. It really it sounds like to me more of an indication of, something that is a regular behavior of yours, and maybe doesn't show up as badly up until today, but it's showing quite clearly when you talk to the ladies. Now, the fact that Bartese is able to even have access to you after a year, and even after a year, because it sounds like they've been talking in between that time, just shows me that first and foremost, of course, yes, you're gonna hear it. We almost got married. We spent so much time together. We've been on the show together. No one really understands where I'm coming from apart from Bartese. We use all of these excuses not to be able to be alone, and the reality is, you need to be. In order to heal from the situation and from Love is Blind and the disappointment of being of not making it past the altar on the wedding day, you need time to heal. For anybody out there, you need time to recover. We say on this channel, sit on the bench and heal. I need to get on a video. I need to get on a hoodie eventually because I'm wasting time. But sit on the bench and heal. Because the reality is, if you don't sit on the bench and heal, you're going to find yourself in a place where you are consistently moving out and the trauma that you faced that you haven't healed from. You're going to be moving and operating and thinking and seeing and talking from a place of that trauma and that brokenness. And everybody's got a little bit of brokenness in their life. Let's be honest, you're a human being. But I think what we see of Nancy specifically is this high level of independence. And I'll show you a clip on that when she speaks on it a little bit earlier on. But I wanted to bring that to your attention. Her allowing Bartese into her space means he has more access to her emotionally, right? They both were talking about, oh, you're a great person. I want to be around you. I hear that, but we need time to recover. We ain't about to be best friends. There's no way. We were actually having fun together. We were trying to get to know each other. We were trying to be with each other. We were trying to marry one another. There is no way to untangle that. Now I get it. There's a longer process because you know what? You've had time to develop an emotional connection with one another behind a screen. And now you actually see each other. It's a different ball game. I really give that grace. But if you don't cut it off and you don't have that period of time where you're not talking, how fast, how your recovery is hampered is major. In fact, another dude coming in can't even get involved with you because you're emotionally still tied to Bartese. Now, Bartese has let it go. He's the one that said no on the altar. He's let it go. But what he's stealing from you is time and your emotional energy. Right? Anytime you feel attached to Bartese, anytime you feel like you care about Bartese, anytime you give him your ear and your mind, you are giving him your emotional energy, and he's receiving it and enjoying it because it's a safety net. He can get your emotional energy from you while still dating someone else. He can get the emotional energy from you while still having sex with someone else. He can have the emotional energy from you and not feel bad about not being in a relationship because he's still getting a relationship aspect of you in terms of your emotional energy. So yes, you need time to be alone. Yes, you need time to be separated from Bartese so that you actually can begin to move forward in your relationship, or at least relationship with self before relationship with someone else. Let's just go back slightly and go back. Well, let me see if I can be a little bit more, and then we'll go back after.
That would be married right now.
Literally, this conversation would have been very different.
My takeaway is just do as I do. It's no context ideal for me.
Yes.
And as much as Zay is, laughing about it, she's being deadly serious. Like, take it from her. You need time out. You need a full-on cut-off period because there's still strings attached. And when the strings are attached, any level of how do I explain this? Okay, so hopefully this illustration. There's a string attached, okay? And when a string is attached to the other person, any level of vibration you're gonna feel. So anytime anything's happening to Bartese, you're still feeling it because you're still attached. So the amount of strings that are attached to an individual person, any level of vibration, you are still feeling it. This is why you need a complete detachment, cut, removal, so that you can't feel the vibrations from the other person impacting you. That was so powerful. That was so powerful. God, thank you for that. That was so powerful. I don't even know where that came from. I'm moving like Mike Todd out here. All right, so for Nancy, she needs that cut off, just like Zay actually said to her. That's a piece of good advice that Zay gave. I don't agree with everything Zay says, but you know what? That was a bar that needed. Okay, so I want to just play this little clip here as well because I think this was also important. I think to my notes. Let me make sure I get my notes correctly because I don't want to misquote where I'm meant to get info. You can hear the paper in it rustling. Let's go.
Hey.
Is your hair blonde?
It is blonde.
Change that up, huh?
Yes.
I like it though.
Summer is over, so gotta change the look.
Love that.
Love that. Okay, great. So they actually have their first meeting and they start talking and start, being open. You can see how friendly they are and have a nice little hug. There is no animosity between the two of them, which is beautiful. And I think this is great. If this is a year later without you guys ever talking and actually spending time alone, I'd have been like, you know what? Great, fantastic. We appreciate it. We love to see this. We love to see people getting on. We love to see people being able to, forgive and move. Wouldn't have been a problem. But the reality is now there are things that are happening underneath the surface that she's not talking about. Let's have a look.
You don't.
They actually don't know anything.
So every time I tell you to tell your dad hi or tell Steve hi, it's just like it just doesn't happen.
It just kind of gets lost in translation.
That's fair.
Okay, so, oh man, I'm going to give you some game on this, guys. I'm going to give you some game on this. I used to be just like her because I'm highly independent, but it's not because I'm an independent person. Of course, I do believe that's also part of my nature. But the nurturing has played a humongous role in becoming what we call hyper independent, where we just want to do everything on our own. Now, she's highly successful. She's got money, finances, businesses, but those businesses are still tied in terms of the housing with her ex-partner. See what I mean about boundaries? Okay. But what's really key about this is when you're so highly independent, you don't take anybody else's advice. Now, look, when I started dating earlier on in my life, I never asked my parents who I should date, what I should date, because you know what? I'm the big boss. I know what I'm doing. I'm firstborn. I'm out there living life. I like certain gal. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. Till I had a few failures. And then I realized, no, I need to bring any girl that I'm about to marry. I need to bring her to my dad and my mum. Be like, hey, how do you guys think about? What did you guys pick up? Do you see something? Do you see anything I should be watchful over? I asked my dad when my last girlfriend. I said, Dad, this is what's happening. What do you think? He said X, Y, Z. I said, you know what? I hear you. Let me take your advice. And the reason being is because when you start failing, you start realizing you cannot do it on your own. Not only that, but there's wisdom in the counsel of men. It's biblical. It's not me. It's Bible. And so the counsel of men, what they do is they're able to use their own perspectives to see into a situation. You see, look, if I grab this bottle here, I'm going to be a Mike Todd right today, and I look straight into the bottle, I've got one perspective. But if I've got 10 people, even if I've got 3 people, there are 3 different perspectives looking in from different angles. Now, what I can see, a couple bubbles going into the water, right? But what can you see? Tell me what you can see. All right, I'm gonna shake it a little bit, right? I can see the bubbles watering. Now, maybe from your perspective, you might see a 1 or 2, but you're looking from another angle. You see the Evian sign. I see an Evian sign from this angle. You see the contents of this bottle. I see just the sign, because my perspective is with my own 2 eyes, and therefore I do not get a wholesome view to what I'm seeing. Nancy not telling her parents that she's seeing him is actually her hiding a secret. It's not her being independent. It's her hiding a secret, and it's what got her in. It's what's going to get her into trouble again, because she doesn't realize there is a counsel in the there is safety in the counsel. There's safety in the multitude of counsel. Do you get what I'm saying? Asking for another perspective to see things differently. Now, of course, sometimes you just don't need another perspective. But in this case with Nancy, she needs it. She needs it. She needs it. She needs it. And the fact that she isn't telling her parents because she might think they're going to be angry, whatever, cool. But what they are going to do is also going to give her some advice, which she won't like, which is probably stay away from him, which is probably give yourself some time, which is probably listen, we don't like him, leave him alone. Because she wants to do what she wants to do because she's independent. And when she learns that, you know what, doing whatever you want to do don't always work out for you, she will learn how to to ask of the counsel of the multitude. Okay, all right. So there's a little bit more. I want to play that clip as well because I think there's some key parts in here. What she explains.
I've seen Nancy frequently over the past year. Nancy's different than any other ex.
Anything related to my relationships, my finances, my life, what I do is usually, hey mom, I'm moving to San Francisco. Bye. Like, do you want to come with me on the road trip? And she'll come. No question.
Did you hear what she said? Did you hear what she said? She said, anything to do with finances, relationships, whatever. My family already trusts me. If I'm going to go elsewhere, I just go and then I tell them. It sounds, listen, I was about this life and I'm telling you right now, anybody listening to this, if you know this is you, you're listening to this message and you're speaking to me and you're kind of slapping me in the face right now. I want to slap you in the face right now. Okay, not literally, because that's violence and I'm not going to do that to you. But let me slap you in the face. I want you to understand something. Thinking that you being independent is cool, I understand. Thinking you being independent because you know what? No one can tell me what to do, I understand. Doing that because you know what? It gives you a level of freedom, I'm with you. I'm actually with you. But when it comes to things that are going to affect your life, like a relationship or marriage, I'm telling you now, you should get multiple perspectives on this. Like if by the grace of God, he allows me to get married, I will be bringing that woman straight to my father by the grace of God that he'll still be alive. I'll bring him to my father and to my mom. Be like, hey, what y'all think about this person? Because you know me, I know how I am, but I can make a mistake. Holy Spirit, what do you think about this person? Because I like this person, but I'm not sure. That's a Christian perspective for you there, right? So the fact that she's doing things on her own and she's meeting him without telling her parents, and like she said, she has a history of doing this. Where is that history landing you? It's landing you right here. I'm telling you right now, any woman out there specifically as well, please, before you start trying to date serious or marrying that person, if you got an older brother, if you got an older uncle, a dad, someone in your family that's a male figure, bring that man to him, because what we'll see, we'll be able to like, yo, no, I think you like it. I think it's cool. Just watch out for X, Y, Z. Do you get it? We need to spend a bit more time with a person so we can actually gravitate and understand where they're coming from. That's what actually creates a safety for a lot of people. And so, I want to end on this final point as well for Nancy, because I get where they're coming from in terms of why they're trying to spend time together. I get it, right? But this is symptomatic of relationships when you guys have not understood your boundaries. Let's go. All right, let's go. Let's put this up on the screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing.
That
Your energy, like your level of positivity, like I like to be around you. Like you are a good person, and I think.
Yeah, sis, let me end on this note. I know that he's a good person, at least to a degree, and I know that he has great energy, but that's no reason why you should be around him. That's actually more reason why you should leave him, because that's what's going to create the false narrative that, you know what, we can be friends again, when you really know that you don't want to be friends. Deep down in your deepest crevice of your subconscious, you don't want to be friends. What you'll also do, listen, it goes both ways. What Nancy's also doing with Bartese is that she's stealing his emotional energy, or at least she's creating her emotional boyfriend here. So she's still getting the safety of having someone who cares about her in a romantic sense. When I say romantic, in the sense of more than just a friend. You say, I'm just a friend. Now you're probably asking how, because they've already established they're friends. The reality is they're not just friends, because they already have a previous existence. And sometimes we use people as crutches to keep us from actually dealing with the actual pain. Because if she leaves him now and lets it be gone, she has to deal with self and has to deal with what just happened and the reality of the fact that the marriage did not actually go the way it's supposed to go. Some of you are keeping people around because they are your crutches and they are your safety nets. Instead of you facing the music and dealing with the pain that you're supposed to deal with and taking a tablet to alleviate the migraine, you need to deal with the source. You need to deal with the source. Turn around and face your problem. Stop looking at me. Stop looking at someone else. Stop trying to crutch on your ex-boyfriend, crutch on your ex-man, and crutch on your ex-girlfriends, guys, as well. You know what I mean? Stop crutching on these people and actually turn around and face the music. Like, share, subscribe. Click on the bell button. Do me a massive favor before you leave. You're gonna like this video, you know. And don't forget, if you need coaching, listen, shout me, hit me up below on my email as well. But listen, don't do anything I wouldn't do. There's not much I wouldn't do. So appreciate you guys.
You know what time it is.